Good morning, gang. Kevin here, Life22. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning. Oh, man. It's great to be alive. It is. It truly is. So, we have today's life theme coming up, hopefully later today, and for the month of April. And so we'll collect your thoughts on how you made out with last month's, and reveal to you what this month's is. And then let's see here. So we got some exciting updates coming up in local politics. Man, when you didn't think things could get more exciting, they do. Right? Like, that's why this is my football season. This is where you punt it. So, as most of you know, if you follow the channel, I'm in the process of putting a deal together, and that deal is going to involve a new section of the channel where we get into real estate investing. And so that's kind of exciting, and it's coming up. And I was, taking care of some of that the beginning stages paperwork of the deal for a big package, and I, driving home last night, smoking a nice celebratory cigar, which I don't get too many of those, so it's nice to rifle one of those down. And man, nicotine hits you when you don't do it that often. But anyways, I'm driving home, and I get a call, and it was, hey, have you seen Facebook today? Like, kind of. Why? There's a lot of shit on Facebook. Well, apparently, and so here's an exciting update to the school board race. So originally, I'll start y'all at the beginning, right? There was one opening. There was one opening, and there was one opening in the school board race, and because one term was up, right? So, and that was Kelly Keller, and she was choosing not to run again, which is fine. It's a lot of work, and she put in a 5-year stint, and from what I gather, she's been to like everything. Like, she goes above and beyond, and I know Kelly and her husband Matt, and they're great people and just pillars of the community. So, when people say Kelly goes to everything, she probably went to everything. It was like, well, here's a sports banquet, and we always encourage people to, and so she'd go, I'm sure. And I'm sure that she would stay for the whole time, right? Not just like make an appearance and leave. And so, like, I can see how that can be cumbersome on your schedule, especially, when you're just going everywhere all the time. And it's like, man, I'm putting in 20 hours a week for a free voluntary gig, right? Like, but, I mean, there's a lot of people in our community that don't even put 20 hours a week into their own kids, right? So that's like, it's intense. But anyways, so she stepped down, and then there was a rumor that another one was gonna. Well, she didn't step down yet. Her term ends, which I believe it's June 1st or May 30th or something like that, or May 31st. It falls in that. So whatever their terms restart, and the elections happen, whatever the commencement date is, right? Then her term would fall off, and the new whoever won that race would take over. So, but there was rumored that another one was going to step down, and then, like, out of left field, another one did, and so now there's 3 open seats. So essentially, what you do is they have there's 5 school board members. Is there 5? No, there are 9. It's every year there is one race. Let's see here. There's a 5-year term. So let's say year 1, there's 2 up. Year 2, there's 2 up. Year 3, there's 2 up. Yeah, there's 9 spots. So for the first 4 years, there are 2 spots open, and on the 5th year, there's only 1 spot. This gives you your uneven number, but everybody's in an even rotation. You're not completely upending a board and putting 9 new people on every year, or half and half. It's literally like 1 to 2 members every year are coming on or off or reelected or what have you. So there's 3 openings. So what'll happen with like Kelly's term, it'll be a full 5-year term. It'll be the longest term on the ballot, right? But for the other 2 that step down, depending on where their term fell in that 5-year stint, like if they had 2 years left, then whoever would be the next lowest vote getter in this race would essentially take the next highest remainder of term, right? So the board in the meantime can pick like a replacement until the next election, if there's time. A lot of times, like the election's coming right up, I don't think they're gonna fill the spots that quickly. They may pick interims, but that's here nor there. So you go through and you pick. They go through and they'll pick the interim. They can pick interim people, and then those people would go. And so now let's say you have 6 people running, and they'll go top 3 vote getters. So the highest vote getter will take the longest term, which would be the full term of Kelly Keller's, and then whoever the next out of the other 2, if one person had 2 years and the other person had 3 years left, the next vote getter, and then all the way down, and then everybody. And once those seats are filled, everybody else, it's sorry, try again next time. Because I've been shuffled in that boat, so I understand how it works. And so hats being thrown in the ring, right? I get a phone call. A guy I used to work with at the city was going to do it, and I was like, yeah, man, you'd be good. I guess his work schedule changed, so then his name got dropped. He didn't even pull petitions. It was one of those. He was going to do it. I think he made a Facebook page. It came down just because he wasn't doing it. His work schedule changed. He's like, I won't have time for it. He's like, so I'm out of the district now most of the time with traveling for work or whatever. And I was like, okay, well, that's one less person in the race. But I hear that there is de Blasie's running. He's going to yell at me because it's Jason Ryan de Blasie. But I always get his last name right. So there's Tim Sherlock. He just threw his name in the ring because initially it was de Blasio and then Tracy Lynn Husselstein. She's a former candidate who ran for Ward 2 Alderman. And then Tim Sherlock came out as running. And then about that time is when the third person dropped out, right? So, you just had Kelly's seat, and then you had 2, maybe 3 people running, and then you had Tim throwing in after one seat opened, and then another seat opened, and now as of today, you had really like 3, maybe 4 people running for school board, and then there was a release on Facebook yesterday, and the release on Facebook is Young, Malik, and Calby for Olean school boards. So they're running on a triple ticket. And then it doesn't mean anything. It just means they collaborated to come together to run a campaign. It doesn't change the rules. Like one vote for them, you would have to cast each individual vote. So you still have to vote for all 3 people. There is no, you know what I mean? Like they've done this in the past with like county legislator races and stuff. So they just kind of group you in a ticket and hope that the whole group will rise up together. And in this case, I would surmise that the first person's name on the list is gonna carry the team, not because it's any more work. It's just because of name recognition. So the first one on Young, Malik, and Calby is Kathy Young. She was our state senator she was a county legislator. She was she was the minority leader for the Republicans in the state of New York. I mean, it's a big feather, right? Like, and so she I believe from what I've gathered, she's since retired from the Department of Agriculture after she stepped down as senator. She went and taught ag at Cornell or something, and now I'm assuming she's retired, and now she's running for school board. So that alone, a lot of people love Kathy. So that alone will be, you could throw like the Crumb Brothers on a ticket with Kathy, and they'd probably get in the school board just because of name recognition. So, good on Kathy for running. Good on these girls for hopping on. You want to win school board, like team up with Kathy. That's probably how it's going to go down. Um, but also, I'm super excited about this because this means that we're going to have like political legend Kathy Young on the show because everybody's getting interviewed for school board race. So this will be exciting, folks. Emails will be drafted and invitations will be sent. Um, and then the next one is Aubrey Malik. Now I know the Malik last name. Went to school with a couple Maliks. I believe there's two different families of Malik. So I'm not sure. I don't know Aubrey. And then Alex Calby. I know Tony. He's the insurance guy. And I feel like I went to school with a Calby as well. Anyways, yeah. So that race is coming up, May 20th. I'm sure they got their petitions within hours. So they have a Facebook page up here. Let's work together to create only in school district that prioritizes safety, supports teachers, and provides every student with the opportunity to succeed. Pretty generic. It's I don't know where we don't prioritize safety. I mean, I guess I could critique this, but anyways, nonetheless, that's a pretty big release that Kathy Youngstoner had in the ring for school board. So, and then that said, we got a special visitor at our house yesterday while I wasn't home. As I said, I was out working on starting a deal, and the gentleman who came to our door was looking for signatures for his petition, and my wife knew him, so she signed his thing. He's a registered Republican. He's running for Ward 4. Wow. Like, at a left field, we got a Ward 4 Alderman candidate in the Republican side, which spices up the race. I don't know how much it spices up the race. He's not a newcomer. He's a newcomer to, and this is where people get confused too, because they also say, like, you got to keep politics and the school district separate. It's like, no, because that's not how the world works, right? The people that say that you have to keep it separate are the ones not keeping it separate. It's like, oh yeah, you need to stop. If you're, it's not about Republican or Democrat, and it's like, whoever's saying that usually is like full blown one side or the other, and then like running for school board, and then they're like, my values don't make anything on my judgments. It's like, well, then why are they your values? Like, isn't that who you are at your core? Like, it drives me a little bit nuts. And then people are like, well, but it's not about politics. It's like, it's always about politics, because here's the thing. Politics are downstream from culture. So if your politics are different, it's because you have different beliefs and ideology that dictate your culture, and your culture is then what dictates your politics, because it's like just anything else, right? Like, you start, I don't know if you have like an animal cell or a plant cell, right? Like, they grow up to be different things, right? And then it's like, you're measuring, politics has nothing to do with the end result. It's like, no, I'm pretty sure it's like, it's derived from the same base. So yeah, it comes from, each one comes from a different school of thought. So one would surmise that it would have a great effect, right? So like, yeah, sure, the politics can change a little bit, but at its core, where its roots are, it still plays a large role in design, effect, everything down the road, all the way to the end, the result. Now the results can slightly vary, but it's one of those. So anyways, yeah, the school board. People say it's not political, but so the newcomer for Alderman is Alan Jason Peters, who was on the school board, and so it is. So he's not a newcomer to. He's not a newcomer to politics, I would say, because the school board is political, like I said, and but he is a newcomer to the city government politics, if that makes sense. But like our conversation with Vernon went. Me and him were talking about this. We see eye to eye on this. Hey, competition's good. Competition's healthy. Um, the and it just it goes to show you, just things that you deal with in life, man. It's if you have uh, good if you just if just in anything, whether it's government, if it's the free market, like if you don't have competition, you stifle development because you're not forcing other people. The incentive structure is not there to force other people to grow and to innovate and to invest in research and development to let themselves stand out amongst their competition, um, to keep prices low and competitive, so you don't have all these different things, right? Because you don't have competition, right? And so you get that kind of same stagnation when you don't have adversaries in politics. It is they're a kin subject, um, and it's good stuff. It's good. It's very healthy. So um, it's healthy to see this. The cure for what is it? The cure for, well, what if all your free speech there's bad speech? Well, the cure to bad speech is more free speech. You just keep throwing free speech at stuff. And people are like, well, it'll be misinformation. It's like, it doesn't matter. If you just keep piling on free speech, essentially, like, just the weight of all the free speech that you have there crushes and decimates all the false information, the theory. But then when you start stifling it, when you start stifling free speech and restricting it, instead of like holding back free speech, what ends up happening is all you're left with is like garbage information, garbage speech, and it's like that's why you don't stifle it. You just keep pumping it on because it naturally kills off the bad speech. Just like a terrarium, a little ecosystem. Free speech is an amazing thing as well. So free markets, free speech. Let's go, baby. And with that said, guys, those are our two announcements today. So you still have the original three that are running, but now you have a trio running in competition. I would love to see a debate. I would love to host. Petitions just got passed out. So we got to see who the petitions just got. I think they're still rolling in for the school board, but the city for the school board. So that one, but that race comes and goes real quick because they'll have all that buttoned up before June, right? May 20th is the election, so by like June 1st or something along those lines, maybe it's June 20th. I can't remember. No, I think it's short after there. So like within the first 6 months of the year, like you're pulling petitions after right around the first quarter, and before the end of the first quarter, you've already got your election all summed up. Where in the city government political realm, you are pulling petitions like Valentine's Day, like beginning of May or beginning of March, and you have to have them in like beginning of April, end of March. And then you go to see who's on a primary for the party, and then now you're just like waiting, writing it out, hoping you don't have any bad press. You try to get some kissing baby photos from June until November, and that's just a big gap. And pretty much you have the entire year of a political campaign. So obviously the debates since it's a mayoral year, a debate would be fantastic. For school board, it's going to be tough, but I would love to hear these candidates just on a stage debating. We've talked about it for the mayoral race, for maybe possibly some of the alderman races, but mainly the mayoral race is a big one. But if you had the space, that would be it'd be an exciting thing, and I think that there'd be a numerous amount of local places to host a debate, and I think it'd be fun. I think it would be exciting for citizens to see what your candidate's all about, and I'm all about transparency. So you really need to. Sometimes people are very well spoken on paper when they have time to prepare, and that's fine. but you also have to have many tools in your toolbox. You have to be prepared to think on your feet, think quickly, have an idea, be able to disarm something, even if you don't have the idea right this moment. At least if you can de-escalate a situation and come back to it later. Maybe it's something, and also it lets people see your honesty. Like, I never really thought about that topic. And then you can shoot from the cuff, give people your initial instinct because they want to see that, because you're going to, as a mayor, as an alderman, you're going to see these shooting from the hip type things because you can't tell what legislation is going to be thrown at you. Like, sometimes you're aware, and other times it's thrown at you and you have no idea. Like, you're just like, oh, I didn't know we were going to be addressing this law. Let me collect my thoughts on this. And then you have time to go back. But a lot of times people want to see, when you're shooting from the hip, you, just like we talked about with the plant animal cell, right? Like they have different bases, different root bulbs, and they're coming up. And I guess maybe the animal cell is not the best to think about it, but maybe different species of plant, right? They're similar, they look alike, but they have root bases that are in different locations on the spectrum. They're some are deeper than others. Like, you could go with the metaphor all day long. But so, anyways, but where you're rooted, where your beliefs are, a lot of times where your ideas come from, because, like, that's your foundation, right? So you're going to have a clearly different shooting from the hip perspective, and a lot of times, like, where you're shooting from the hip from is also the same place that your ideas are coming from. So eventually your thoughts on the matter are going to evolve in that same projection, right? You're not gonna, your overall idea might become a tulip if you're coming from a tulip root base. Like, you're not gonna come up here and be like, oh, almost a tulip daffodil. Like, that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So, I'm in the world of ideas. It may, right? Like, somebody might introduce some different idea to you, some outside force, right, that can alter what your end result is. But unless it's some epiphany, some great epiphany, right? That's like, wow, no, I didn't think about it that way. Well, that changes everything, and then you completely revamp the idea, which is fine. It's fine. It's not like you're casting aside your belief system. You're just adjusting it with new information. You're adjusting your idea with new information. But anyway, so go back to debates. Debates are really great because they're going to show transparency. You're going to get inside the minds of how these people are thinking, and there's no truer way than to not let somebody kind of ferment on a topic and just let them shoot from the hip. Because then you're going to see where their instincts are coming from. You can kind of see, like, almost like a direct little window into their belief system sometimes, depending on the questions, depending on all this stuff. But it just opens the door for more transparency, and that's what we always need more of, both on the school board, city council, the city government, just in general, everywhere needs more transparency. So, and that's what the channel's all about, baby. So, all right, guys. Well, that was a longer than yesterday, but it was a good podcast. We'll catch you guys tomorrow on Life22, or we'll catch you later for the announcement of April's Life theme. See you guys. Like and subscribe.